Hey guys, NCS Fan 001 here, welcoming you to another one of those weekly trophy list update videos. Today's date is Monday, April 27th, 2020. So this will have covered the week of April 20th through 26th of 2020. This was a productive week, but in kind of a different way. It wasn't overly productive in terms of, or it wasn't really productive at all in cleaning up old games that were already on my list. But it was productive in cleaning up a couple of games that have been sitting in my backlog for a while. That's another thing I'm starting to work on here is when if I don't have anyone to play other games with, like, the old Call of Duty games and stuff that I need to clean up, then I will jump into my backlog of other games that I own but have not started, many of which are quick and easy platinum. So as one other quick update, where is it down here? With Red Dead Redemption 1, I have actually found someone that he apparently has or is going to have like 3 or 4 PS3s. So I think we're just going to wait until like sometime during May to get the Poker Ace trophy. I think this week, even if I can't do the co-op trophies this week, I'm just going to jump in with my second console and get this one out of the way just because it's kind of bothering me that it's just sitting there incomplete when it's really easy. So I will probably go in and do that this week just to get it out of the way, and then I only have 3 trophies left, and I'll be saving that other one, so then I'll just need to find someone to do the gold medal co-op with at some point. But anyway, that's enough of updating on that game. So I got 4 platinum trophies this week, including my first big stack in a while. I haven't stacked a game in a while, like this many times at least. And it is a Ratalaika game, but that's not the first thing we want to talk about. First thing we want to talk about here is Fallout 76 Wastelanders expansion. So last week we had finished finding the Overseer and the Elusive Crane, and yeah, that was all we had finished. So this past week I finished off Sophia and Beckett's stories, which those are the 2 allies. Their entire quest lines are nothing but a series of fetch quests. Every single quest is the same thing. You go to a location and you either kill a marked enemy or pick up a marked item. Sometimes you get to do both. And then they each have a slightly more unique finale mission, but that's really about it. So these trophies are very easy. They take a little bit of time and they're really repetitive and boring, but you do get some good rewards. Like with Sophia's story, you get a unique 3-star legendary alien blaster, which is pretty awesome. And with Beckett's story, you get, at least for me, I got a 3-star legendary 50 caliber machine gun. I think it's called like the All Rise or something. Whatever it is, it's really, really good. So yeah, or no, that's not what it's called. It's called Final Words. That's it. I don't know why I called it the other thing. Yeah, I believe it's called Final Word, and it's really, really pretty solid because the 50 calibers are pretty solid in this game as long as you can continue to make ammo for them, though I think the 308 has turned out to be better. So as for the rest of this, these 2 trophies are for completing the storylines for the Raiders and for the Settlers, and apparently you cannot do both in a single playthrough. I'm still pretty sure that's true. But you can get a good distance of the way through each one with your playthrough, so it's not that big a deal. I am going to go ahead and do as much as I can for both factions so I can max out the reputation with each faction on my main file where I have significantly more resources and everything. As far as I know, you can get both of these in the same playthrough because you can continue to do daily quests for each faction once you're done with the main story. So it's definitely a grind, but it's at least not overly difficult, and it can be done in single playthrough from what I know. And then I'll just have to start up a new character and get all the way to level 20 to finish off the other side of this. I think I'm going to focus on the Raiders, though, because from what I heard, they're the faction to work with if you want to get the ammo dispenser at your base, like the ammo production thing at your base. So if that's true, then I know for a fact you can get it with the Raiders, so I'm going to go with the Raiders regardless so I can get it, because that sounds awesome. And then, of course, there's the Gold Bullion. I think the 300's unmissable by the time you finish this whole thing, but the 1500's a little bit more of a grind, but I think there's like a quest you can do once you complete the main story that might be able to unlock it for you regardless, so that's a good thing. So regardless, I mean, it's okay as a DLC. I mean, the game has been improved a bit, but it still suffers a lot of problems. It's still quite laggy, quite buggy, it crashes a lot, and the new quests are not all that intriguing, or at least the companion quest lines are not intriguing at all because they're just a series of fetch quests. The main stories are a little bit better, but not fantastic. And then the daily quests, the fact there's only like 2 potential daily quests per faction that you can do to level them up, and half those have to do something with using that stupid tracking beacon to find someone, makes it less fun than it could have been. Anyway, my next platinum was the EU PS4, well, it's only PS4, EU version of The Inner World. This one has a North American and a European version. It might also have another version, but I think it's only North American and European. So this is a very quick and easy point-and-click adventure game. You can do it in, 2 to 3 hours. I mean, that wasn't my first trophy. Where was my first trophy? I'm curious. So that was at 2:21 p.m., 4:24. So it took me about 2 hours to get the platinum, which is fine, but here's the thing. This is one of the most broken short games I have ever played in my life. It will soft lock many times throughout a playthrough. It soft locks to where I had to reset the game 6 times in a 2-hour long game. That is not acceptable in the slightest. Like, that's worse than Fallout 76 for crashing. It's worse than any Fallout game when it comes to crashing, so that is completely unacceptable. I don't know how they justified releasing it in that state, because that's really, really messed up. But at the very least, the game is easy as long as you follow a guide. You have to complete the 5 chapters of the game, which is where most of your time is going to come in, just completing the chapters. You have to talk to every possible character, which you'll get along the way if you follow a guide. You have to complete the game without using any hints, which is really not difficult. Once again, as long as you're following a guide, just don't hit L2 unless you're using it to play the nose flute. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense unless you've played the game. So yeah, it's easy though as long as you're following a guide. We'll come back to this trophy in a minute. Then you get miscellaneous trophies for each level. Like these 2 are from Chapter 1, this one's from Chapter 1, this one's from Chapter 1, and this one's also from Chapter 1. So you get a bunch of chapter-specific trophies that are all mostly easy as long as you know how to do them. Just follow a guide and you should be fine. I would suggest the guide on PlayStationTrophies.org. Then you get to Chapter 2. These are all in Chapter 2. All 4 of those, and actually this one as well, are all in Chapter 2. I don't know if there's one in Chapter 3. These might actually be in Chapter 4. I think all of these might actually be in Chapter 4. And then this one is in the final chapter. So I can't remember exactly how they're split up, but overall, I mean, once again, just follow a guide or a text walkthrough or even a video walkthrough and you're good to go. It's not going to be a problem. Now, once you have completed the game and earned all the other trophies, including specifically this one that's game spanning, you're going to need to start up a new game and play for a few minutes using as many hints as possible until you've used about 10 to get this trophy. Now, an interesting thing about this game is that it has some of the longest trophy descriptions I have ever seen in a game. Like, very, very extensive trophies, for the most part, not all of them, including the Platinum Trophy name. Unlock all trophies to officially earn the prestigious title Contributor to the Encyclopedia Asposia. With this title, you'll be able to contribute to the next edition of said encyclopedia as you proved your deep knowledge of the Asposian world and its inhabitants, because this is only the first of 2 games. There's a second game called The Last Wind Monk, and I believe I own the European version of it, but I still haven't played it yet. So do keep that in mind, that there is another game, and this one is horribly buggy in terms of how often it will crash and softlock on you. But otherwise, it is an easy and quick platinum trophy that can be done in under 2 hours, depending on how glitchy it gets. Then I got 3 platinums. I got a triple up, which will all be in a single video, for Super Weekend Mode. I did all 3 versions of the game that I would intend to do, which for those of you who don't know and haven't been here for as long, I tend to do the North American PS4, North American PS Vita, and European PS4 versions of stackable games. At most, that's all I will ever do for a game. Although there's also the possibility of, like, say, the or just say PS3, PS4, and PS Vita versions of games, which is something like, Minecraft had that, but I can't think of any other games off the top of my head that do that. And I'm sure that there will also be like a PS5 version of Minecraft, and I don't know if there will be PS5 versions of the Ratalaika games. I hope not. I would hope that maybe Sony would grow a backbone and actually enforce some degree of quality control. Now, this is not the worst Ratalaika game, I will say that. It's better than some of them. It's not the worst one. It's got a bit of an interesting game design to it. So I did the European PS4 version first, and it took me the longest. It took me about 20 minutes to get this one because I didn't really understand how the game was played at first. But once I figured out how the game was played, it was significantly easier. Like the Vita, or the North American PS4 version took me like 7 minutes, and then the Vita version, North American Vita version, took like 4 minutes. So it's much easier once you get the hang of it. So your first run of it's going to be a little bit tougher because basically you use L1 and R1 to control two paddles, and hitting the button makes the paddle move either left or right, either from the center to the left or the center to the right, or from the right to the center or the left to the center. It's a little bit weird to get used to, but it's very easy once you do get used to it, and that's what part of the reason why the Platinum does still turn out to be pretty easy. To get the Platinum, you have to finish the first 3 stages here, so complete stages 1, 2, and 3, which the first stage you can't even die on, I don't believe, and the second stage it's pretty tough to screw up on, especially more than once. It's really only the third stage where you have a risk of dying, and it's not a high one. Level up once, that's going to come naturally, that's unmissable. Then you have to score points here. You have to score 30,000 and 50,000. You can score 30,000 on the first level alone, and then just don't die until you get to 50,000. You'll be fine. So you shouldn't have any problems with those. You'll probably get both of those without any real issue. And then you have the 100 chain, which is basically getting 100 hearts plus and/or 100 hits in a row on the target, the boss thing, because you're trying to whittle down its health by collecting hearts and shooting it. So doing 100 is very easy. You can get that on the first stage without much of a problem. You have to die once, which is pretty much unmissable, especially the first time you're playing through the game. It probably will happen regardless on the third level. You have to defeat a dust bunny, which is going to happen along the way, but the dust bunnies are the yellow ones, and you can't get touched by them. You have to sideswipe them. And sometimes the game doesn't read that properly. It doesn't function properly to where even if you hit it, it doesn't seem to work right. Now, if you miss them, it's not the end of the world. It just makes the screen smaller, so you just have to be careful with that, and you don't want it to get too small. You have to collect 300 hearts, which actually in the Vita version was the last trophy I got because I thought I had already had it when I switched to hard difficulty for the last trophy here, but just for playing it on hard mode for like 10 seconds or so. And surprisingly, I didn't yet have this one on that, so you may have to play just a little bit extra if you are decent enough at the game to where you don't get it by beating level 3. So do keep that in mind. If you wanted to get the Platinum the fastest possible way, if you're really good at the game, you could do everything on hard, and that would save you some time. It would save you a little bit of time because I think most of the records for this game are like in the a little bit over 3 minutes to get the Platinum, which I feel like I could see being possible. I think that should be possible, especially if you know what you're doing, and if you were to get hard at the same time, you would just have to not die at all while doing it. So it's really not that much more to say about this game. I mean, it's a very quick and easy Platinum trophy once you know how to play the game. You can do it in under 5 minutes. I did this version in under 5 minutes because the first trophy I would have gotten, 12:39 p.m. Was that? Yep, 12:39 was the first trophy I got, and the Platinum was at 12:43, so I did it in under 5 minutes. Not a difficult Platinum, again, once you get used to the game. And at least it's a little more unique than some of the Ratalaika games, but I mean, it's still a Ratalaika game, so it's cheap, quick, easy Platinum garbage, in all honesty. And I haven't bought a new Ratalaika game in a very long time, outside of the North American version for this one, just because I decided, hey, you know what, let's go ahead and get all 3 versions out of the way so I don't have to deal with it anymore. And I haven't bought another Ratalaika game in a long time. The only ones I still own are... These are the European versions of about three or four of them. I have Peasant Knight, Metagal, Iron Snout, and Siberian, the time-traveling warrior. My big sister, this one might also be Ratalaika, but it's like a very different one. So I have like 4 to 5 of them left. I also do have... Where is it? I do still have Daggerhood as well, the North American versions to do, so I have like 6 Ratalaika games left to do, and that's it, because most of these I bought quite a long time ago. So, not quite done playing Ratalaika yet, but hopefully will be someday to where, don't have to waste my time with them anymore. And hopefully maybe other trophy hunters we can all band together and get Sony to at least implement some kind of control over allowing them to stack the game 6 times, or when PS5 comes out, possibly 9 times. And then they could still stack like a Japanese version or something. That'd be 12 times then. And a Korean version, that's 15. A Chinese, that's 18. A physical versus a digital, that's probably unlikely, but that would be another, you know, 1. So like 20 total per version or something. I don't know. I don't want to give them any ideas. So I actually probably shouldn't have said any of that because I don't want to give them any ideas. Did I already sync it? I already forgot if I synced it like 10 seconds ago. But anyway, with that, level 73, 66%, 18,265 total trophies, 436 platinums, 2,490 golds, 4,798 silvers, 10,541 bronzes. So plans for the upcoming couple of weeks. I still want to continue working on Red Dead Redemption. Hopefully I can find people to do the advanced co-op with. If anyone has a group, like, I'd rather do it with at least 3 people, if not 4 people, because I know you have to get a higher score, but you can actually revive each other, and I don't really think the scores are going to be that big of a deal on hardcore or advanced, because it feels like you get more points. I've talked about that before. So I don't really think that's going to be too much of a problem. I just need to have a group to do it with. And then along with that, of course, the 2 versions of Call of Duty Ghosts I want to start working on. I'm in a boosting group for one of them, but I actually need to check because I'm not entirely sure I have copies of the game for both consoles. I'm pretty sure I have the PS4 version, but I'm not sure where my PS3 copy is, and I need to figure out where it is because obviously I would need that to be able to play the PS3 version. So there's that, and then of course Battlefield 3 sitting back there. I just need to know I can set aside like a week to where what I'll probably do is just rent a server for a week or something. It costs like $5 or so and can just grind it out in a rented server as long as I know I've got either one other person with 2 consoles or 2 other people that are all going to be reliable for that week. So I'll look into that because I know that everything in that game is pretty easy to boost. It just takes a while to get through everything, including the main game. And everything except for one, like, ribbon or medal can be done with 4 people because you need 4 people to start a lobby. The only one that you can't get is, like, one ribbon it's like the squad wipe ribbon, but I'm pretty sure I already have it, so that's good. So we'll look into that, and then, of course, starting to work through more and more of my backlog. I got plenty of other games still to play in the backlog, as well as continuing to work on Fallout 76's Wastelanders expansion. I'm also probably going to upload a cooking video, because it's been like almost a month since I've done one, and I've got 3 of them on here. I just need to edit them, and that doesn't take too long, so I need to do that for sure. And, of course, continuing to work on editing my challenge runs down into single videos. So the next one will not be as long of a video, that's for sure, because that previous one, the max skills run, that took a very long time to edit, and it turned out to be a pretty long video because it was 40 hours of gameplay. Anyway, that is going to be it for this... Oh, actually, you know what? Before I say that's it, they actually just revealed the release dates for Last of Us and for Ghost of Tsushima. The Last of Us Part 2 is going to be, I believe, June 16th. And on July 17th, we get Ghost of Tsushima. And then also, the SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom release date was revealed to be, I believe, June 23rd. So very excited about that. Destroy All Humans Remaster still doesn't have a release date yet. A lot of people are saying it is going to be this summer, though, to coincide with the 15th anniversary of the original game's release. So we will see about that. But I also heard that someone leaked a whole bunch of The Last of Us's cutscenes and spoilers and storyline because they were like a disgruntled employee or something. So that's highly unfortunate. And it makes me think that maybe they would try to release it, like sneak out the release like they did with Modern Warfare 2 in the nearer future. Just to, you know, before everyone reads all the spoilers, because you might as well now. So I don't know what will happen with that, but we will see. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you this week for pretty much typical schedule.